When you go-karting, an action camera like the Ace Pro 2 is the perfect camera to bring along to capture the thrill of the day. And of course, the same applies when you visit the Swiss Alps for the first time in the middle of August and try your hand at skiing for the second time ever. But did you know that with just a simple little accessory upgrade, that same Ace Pro 2 will now not only be your new favorite compact camera for vlogging, but it might even turn into one of your favorite new everyday cameras for taking photos too. What is this mythical accessory, you might be asking? Well, this is Insta360's Xplorer Kit cage system for their Ace Pro 2 action camera, and they're sponsoring today's video so we can show you guys what this cage does and honestly why I think that this is the future of action cameras. And we'll talk about what it's like vlogging with this setup, especially with Insta360's Mic Air, as well as look at a bunch more sample videos and sample photos too, but let's start off with an overview of the Xplorer Kit first. At the center of it all is this aluminum camera cage designed specifically for the Ace Pro 2, which adds protection and mounting options. It also has cutouts for all the different doors and ports, letting you freely access most of the camera's functionality. To attach the camera, just press this button to unlock the latch, slide your Ace Pro 2 in, and close it until it clicks and locks. Now, to improve the ergonomics of the Ace Pro 2, the next piece is the side grip. It attaches via a screw, and you can tighten it down and secure it with the hidden flathead tool. And now for my favorite piece of this setup, the shutter button. This little flat piece of metal mounts onto the cage's cold shoe and has this little rubber button on the bottom that lines up perfectly with the shutter button of the camera. And once it's attached, you can see that it's basically just a lever that you can press down, causing the rubber bit to press the shutter button. Literally, how did it take this long for camera manufacturers to figure out a product like this? It's genius. And it's not just like a cheeky workaround, it is a satisfying shutter button. Taking pictures and starting recording with the shutter button is genuinely such a better experience thanks to it. And just listen to that tactile sound. Finally, you've also got this nice braided wrist strap that you can attach through this little inlet, and now you've got a comfortable way to hold your camera, take pictures, and not worry about accidentally dropping your camera. So let's talk about photography with an action camera. And I know some of you guys are gonna be raising your eyebrows, and no, I'm not trying to say that an action camera is going to take better photos than our larger sensor mirrorless cameras that are way more versatile. But photography with an action camera has genuinely become an option to me now thanks to this accessory. With the better ergonomics, it makes taking photos feel like something that this camera was actually designed to do instead of an extra feature that was available on a video-centric action camera. For once, I genuinely really enjoyed using this camera thanks to how small it was. It could fit in my sling bag while we were in Europe, which meant when I wanted to snap a quick photo for memories, it was that much easier to just pull the Ace Pro 2 out of my bag and just press a shutter button and be able to take a photo within just a few seconds. If I wanted to really get the maximum quality out of the images and have full control over the color, saturation, and contrast, I would shoot in the raw DNG mode and edit them in Lightroom. But I found that the colors out of the presets built into this camera made for great JPEG images straight out of the camera. Like, let's walk through this. Prior to having an accessory like this, to take a photo on an action camera, you're doing this whole pinching the action camera thing, right? You're trying to keep your fingers out of the shot because the camera lens is so wide, and this is like how you take photos. And like, that's not an ergonomic or fun way to take photos. And now instead you can just take photos like this, right? One-handed or two-handed for more support if you want to, but you don't have to. And it's so much more of an intuitive design. Like, this is how you would normally use a camera. And if you're looking to get an action camera, not as a pro videographer who's looking for a unique perspective for their next video project, but rather as an everyday carry camera for vacations with family or going out with friends, then this accessory really delivers on making your Ace Pro 2 a lot more dynamic. And it doesn't just make the photography experience with an action camera better, but also the videography experience. Like, how do pros normally use an action camera? Mounting it to things like helmets to get POV shots, or mounting it to a go-kart to get interesting angles that you couldn't normally mount a full-size camera to get. But if you're someone who just wants to use your action camera to capture content beyond the niche types of shots, then you're probably hand-holding the camera, again with the good old pinch and shoot technique like you're some kind of giant. Well, by adding a cage, you get such better ergonomics that it's not just that it's more comfortable to use, but that also means that you end up getting smoother footage with better handheld technique, and combine that with the incredible stabilization that comes out of action cameras like the Ace Pro 2, you now get that floaty, professional looking footage all from a action camera. And you know what else benefits from having better ergonomics like this? Vlogging, especially with that flip up screen, so you can get a full view of what you're gonna be, capturing while having better ergonomics. Since I've added this cage onto my Ace Pro 2, I've been loving just capturing moments while on the go. Okay, can you say what you just said again?
So this in here, your parietal ends right in here. And that's exactly why the cowlick from this background section is falling into that apex.
If you're in the Tampa area, you gotta get your hair cut by Nino right here. This is the boy, he's got all the knowledge. And since we're talking about the Ace Pro 2 and vlogging, there's another Insta360 product that recently dropped that hasn't actually gotten a lot of coverage, and that's gonna be the Insta360 Mic Air. Long story short, it comes with a transmitter that can pair with your Ace Pro 2 via Bluetooth by long pressing the power button when turning it on. It'll start flashing dark blue, and then you just pair it through the Ace Pro 2's interface. It comes with 3 ways to mount: either a magnet to attach it to thin fabrics like shirts, a magnetic clip that you can use to attach it to a jacket, or something like their magnetic lanyard. I will say that the magnet is strong, but not the strongest, and since this thing is so small, I'd pay attention to not accidentally lose it. It also comes with a wind muff, and if you want to use that, you'll need to attach it to the rubber case, which you can then attach to the Mic Air, but I personally don't love this since it's a bit too easy for it to just pop off the rubber case, unfortunately. To charge the mic, it comes with an Apple Watch-like magnetic charging base, and finally, it does come with a USB-C receiver so that you can pair this with more than just Insta360 products, meaning you could use this with your phone or your computer. Right now, you're listening to the internal microphone on the Insta360 Ace Pro 2, and as I've said in reviews and showcases of action camera internal microphones have gotten much better over like the past 5 years, and honestly they sound quite good, and they're definitely usable for vlogging and for scratch audio. But if you want to upgrade and step up your audio game, then you can pick up the Insta360 Mic Air for $70 for the 1 transmitter pack and Bluetooth pair it to your Ace Pro 2 to get clear audio, since you'll be able to put the microphone closer to your subject and get that proximity effect, that clarity, more bass, more mids, and generally it'll just sound better. Let me know what you think of the audio coming out of the Insta360 Mic Air. While we were in Switzerland taking some photos, I actually noticed like a girl 10 feet away from me taking photos on their action camera, which is wild because I've actually never seen people in public taking photos with an action camera. And it dawned on me that if an accessory like this was more prevalent across all of the different action camera brands, you would see way more people using their vacation camera, their GoPros, their Osmo Actions, their Ace Pro 2s, as like everyday cameras. Like with this kind of accessory, you now have a pocketable camera capable of solid looking 4K footage, can be easily mounted for super unique shots, has good dynamic range, and not only capable of capturing stills, but is now enjoyable to use to capture said stills. Well then now all of a sudden you're looking at a sub $500 everyday carry camera that is also really rugged and waterproof. I'd say that that's a pretty good value proposition. All right, now there are 2 things that I don't love about this accessory that I would love to see Insta360 upgrade and update by the next iteration of this kit if they continue to keep making these. The first one is gonna be the weight and the material of the cage. I love the aluminum cage. It feels very durable. I think it provides a lot of protection. The whole cage itself combined is about ½ a pound, and the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 is also about ½ a pound. Together, that's a pound. That's not the heaviest thing in the world, but when you're carrying this in your hoodie pocket or in your jacket pocket and you're walking around with it, right, this does feel dense and it's not as comfortable. So alternatively, I'd love to see a lightweight version made of something similar to what the Osmo Action 5's cage is made out of, this like plastic composite with maybe the cold shoe reinforced with metal, so that way the shutter button lever action, continues to work over a long period of time with all of that movement. But I think the second thing that I would like to see change, which is honestly more important, is gonna be how this side grip is mounted to the cage. While we were skiing up at Matterhorn Glacier Paradise, the ski area, halfway through the day, I needed to change batteries, and that was just kind of a lot to do. And it was just a lot easier to just pull the camera out and do it. And again, it's not a huge deal, but I think how they could update this is instead of using a screw mount, change this to a NATO style rail, so that way you can slide it on and off with some sort of lever or button locking mechanism so that it still stays secure, but it's very easy to quickly pull off to change the battery and all of that. Again, I don't think these 2 things are deal breakers. I still really love this accessory. I just think that in a version 2, there are definitely some things that they can do to continue to keep improving this product and make it really a standout accessory. All right, so let's talk about pricing and my thoughts. First of all, price-wise, it's $85 and available in both the silver version that I have and a pretty slick looking slate gray. And if you're interested in checking this out, along with all the other products I talked about today, links will be in the description down below. Here are my personal thoughts. I think that $85 for this accessory is a little bit expensive. I personally like to see it closer to that like $50 range, but after using it for over a month, I 100% say that it is definitely worth it in my opinion. So much so to the point where I think I'm gonna go pick up a second cage so that way Annette can have a cage for her Ace Pro 2 so she can enjoy using it as much as I've been using it. Everyone I've talked to has loved the idea, the design, and the form factor of this camera cage, from other content creators to my friends who own their own action cameras for vacations but aren't as invested in photography. It's made me use my Ace Pro 2 a lot more, and it's actually a reason for me to pick it up over my DJI Osmo Action 5, because even though I slightly like the image out of my Osmo Action 5 better, check out my comparison video if you're interested in that topic, at the end of the day, it's about which camera are you actually going to pull out and use after you've brought it with you all the way with you. And normally I only pull out an action camera for the action camera shots, but now my Ace Pro 2 feels so much more versatile. And I can't get over the fact that like an accessory did all of that. All right, that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below on what you think of this accessory kit and whether or not you agree with me on this being a game-changing type of accessory for the action camera market. Oh, and while you're down there, make sure to hit that like button and get subscribed. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.